Hello goats, this will be your Zenless Zone Zero tutorial for beginners and returning players. So if you're here for patch 1.4, oh boy, you're in for a treat. So much has changed and will be changed or optimized since patch 1.0, so I hope you guys learn a thing or two here. Currently we're at 1.3 and we have a couple of days before we officially launch the version 1.4. So I'm gonna upload this hopefully before 1.4. Yeah, and we've already seen some of the future changes. They discussed it during the previous ZZZ special program. And having said that, I'm going to mention Genshin and Star Rail terms for you to reference and easily understand what they mean here in Zenless Zone Zero. By the way, this is Godric. I've been playing Genshin Impact and Star Rail and of course ZZZ from their respective launches. And with that, welcome to the video and let me walk you through new Errands. Just a bit of a personal review and backstory. We already have Genshin and Star Rail, as you know, so I really didn't want to add another game, especially a Gacha game, in the list. So when I first saw it, I was skeptical at first, but you know, when I tried it, I was really surprised by the smoothness of it. The gameplay is really good, and the story is, I would say, simple yet very interesting. I guess the key factor there is the animation and the voice acting. They're top notch, so you won't really get bored when it comes to the quests, and the pacing is quite fast. Even if you do a story quest, it won't bore you because it doesn't have that much of just like, you know, how it went with Genshin and Star Rail, where you have a wall of text that you just want to skip but you can't. And speaking of skip, Zenless Zone Zero has a skip option, but having said that, the story is so good and engaging, I would really discourage you to skip because it's really good, like cinema. So yeah, you could also view my VOD when I first played the game. You could access it here in the channel, or I could put a link here in the description or somewhere here in the video right now. So yeah, so story wise, although I wouldn't give too much detail about that, it's a post-apocalyptic world, although the kind of world that they're living in is the kind that they've already progressed, and they're still trying to live with, you know, the conditions that they were given. But yeah, I won't give too much details about that. I'm gonna let you guys discover it for yourself. And yeah, let's kick off the tutorial or the tips that I have for you with the interface. So regardless if you're on mobile or PC or PlayStation, the interface is quite the same. It's just a matter of what you press, of course. So the way they designed this is very optimal, I think. So you can see here at the top right, you can actually compress this. So you have your characters, events, errands, notebook. This part is important for later because I've seen some players get confused about this. And City Fund is the battle pass, and Signal Search. So Signal Search is the gacha pulling system. Let's go through each of them one by one. So first we have the character page. So it's here. I do think that this has a unique design. I mean, unique compared to Genshin and Star Rail, of course. And since I already showed the screen to you, I'm going to show the features one by one. So from the bottom left, this one here is the character's profile. So we have our sample lighter. So we have his gender, height, birthday, and this here is the trust level, or you could reference it to friendship level. But the way you raise it here is quite different. So you could raise the trust level of characters from hanging out with them. So for example, you could encounter them in the overworld, or you could also text them. So we have our knock knock is what they call it, the messenger here. So we're gonna have tips about that later. I'm gonna show that to you, of course. And you'll see here, there are also tips about how you could raise their trust level. So naturally, you wanna do that because there are certain rewards as you raise their trust level. Rewards which I am going to show you later as well. You'll also notice that this is categorized as factions, and we have here location, although there's only one character, this cat, Inky. Anyway, let's go back to the character page. So you have here base stats, and from the bottom left, you can see the Mindscape Cinema. So Mindscape Cinema is the constellations or eidolons. The good thing about this is, unlike Genshin and Star Rail, you're gonna get free banners when you reach M3 and M6. And as you know, we don't have that in Genshin and Star Rail. We only have our friendship banner in Genshin, and you could acquire that in a different way. But yeah, anyway, similar to Genshin and Star Rail, the 3rd and 5th levels of their Mindscape Cinema have the same effect. Like, they're going to raise your levels, or kit levels rather. So at the same time, the way that they also introduce the banners, how you're gonna get them, like I said, you're gonna get 3 banners from M3 and M6. The way they do it is, I'm gonna give you an example. So we have here, my M6 is Anton. So you can see here at M0, there's a level to it, right? So each time that you get a piece of his Mindscape Cinema, you're gonna, in a way, undress him. So who else? You also have Nicole here. So as you'll notice, they still have clothes on, and as you reach M6, they're going to be removed. So there you go. We also have here, let's go to the main window again. The maximum level, by the way, is 60. So this is the level, and when you click here, you're going to see the detailed stats. By the way, this is the best time to discuss this, I guess. So currently, there are 5 elements or damage types. So you have fire, ice, electric, ether, and physical. Each of these damage types have their own anomaly buildup, which I'll explain later. And each of the anomaly type have their own effect on the enemies. We can't directly compare it to Genshin because Genshin is reaction based, right, with the elements and all, but we could closely relate it to Star Rail. It will get better if I explain it at the battle sequence, so we're gonna get back here later. So for now, you can look at this portion. They also explain here the effect of the damage type. And next, we also have 5 different types of agent specialties, or the types of agents or their roles. So you have the stun type. So they're the ones who apply daze. And when you apply daze, it's how you stun the enemies. So I'm going to show you that later when we go to the battle sequence. So the next type is the attack type. And they are, well, the attackers. They're basically your DPS units, so they mostly rely on crit stats, and they have no other gimmick aside from that, or maybe in the future, I don't know. So next is the anomaly type. So they're the ones, like I said earlier, have the anomaly build-up feature, and they use this specialty which they can quickly apply anomaly, and of course, in turn, have high anomaly damage. Support type, of course, supports, basically buffers. And then defense type is the tanks or counter attackers. So we're gonna talk about that later as we go to the battle mechanics and team building. So what else? You also have stats here highlighted for the main stat or focus of the character. So you won't get confused about what you need for that specific character. Although another tip, because sometimes when you reach a higher Mindscape Cinema, there's gonna be an improvement in their kit, like, you know, you can do an overlap of a role. For example, I have my Ben, who's a defense type, but right now he's at M6, so I use him as a stunner. So that's just one thing that you could, you know, tweak a little bit when you play on your own, and check for yourself if you can apply it to, you know, your gameplay as well. Next, we have skills. It might get confusing at first, but it's quite simple, really. So this one at the top, the ABCDEF, this is your core skill. So in other words, this is your passive skill, and the letters A to F, they're the levels. And this one right here, the tape, this is the active trait or the active level. So whatever level is active on your character, that's the level of your core skill. So you can also watch a tutorial of or how your core skill works here. So there. And of course, these are the actual skills or talents. So all of them have 5. Basic attack, of course, you already know that. Dodge, best explained, I guess, at the actual combat. Although this is in the tutorial, and I'm sure you won't miss this. And then the assist, same thing. It's also in the tutorial. It's best explained there and best to be experienced by you guys. That's why I'm saying that it's in the tutorial. And then special attack, this is the actual skill. And chain attack, this is the burst. Now from 1.0 to 1.3, the chain attack or the burst is is actually shared by the whole team. So for example, you use your chain attack on your support character, and when you switch to your main DPS, you won't be able to use it because you just used it. But good thing in 1.4 they're going to change the burst or the chain attack to individual. I had to mention it because, you know, later when we do the demo, you might get confused about why that specific thing happened. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. And I want to discuss the items here, but let's discuss the equipment first. Let's just finish the whole character page. So here, so this is your equipment page. Here at the center is the weapon, or it's called here as W engine. But as I like to call it, I call it Wenjin. Just ignore it, but that's how I want to call it. So yeah, here's the level of your Wenjin and the stars. This signifies the refinement, and then the passive effect is here. And here you have your smaller circles. So these are your disks. The disks or drive disks are basically your artifacts. So similar to both Genshin and Starreal. Well, let's just say I have trash rolls. I don't know how to describe it more accurately other than that. Yeah, anyway, you'll notice that we have 6 pieces here. So it's quite similar to Starreal, the format. And you'll also notice that since they're all discs, you don't have any headpiece, feather, or whatnot. So they're all drive discs, and their distinction is that they're numbered from 1 to 6. So disc 1 is flat HP, disc 2 is flat attack, disc 3 is flat defense, and 4 to 6 are the ones that vary. So the disc 4 is the one that has crit stats or anomaly proficiency, which is needed by anomaly agents. By the way, you could also compare anomaly mastery with elemental mastery, so you could easily understand it. And disc 5 is the one that has damage type bonus, but of course it also has the extra HP or attack or defense percentage stats. And at the same time, that also applies to disc 6, so it also has those HP, attack, or defense percentage stats. And of course it has impact, which is what affects daze for stun types, or it could be your source of energy regen. And here you can combine 1 4-piece combo and 1 2-piece combo, or 3 2-piece combos. And I would say that this is more optimized, the disc management that they have here, because they also have discard option here, or a discard button. I wonder when Genshin is gonna apply that, but yeah. And of course you also have your lock here and all these other options. Now let's proceed with the items. So
I'm here, so
I guess let's call this an item comparison with Genshin, so you could be, you know, like I said earlier, you'd be more familiarized and understand them better. So I'm gonna show this to you first. By the way, the interact button or F here is unique, quite unique with ZZZ, because as you remember in Genshin or Starreal, you have a dedicated interact option, like it's F, right? And right here, you're only gonna use this, and sometimes, I think it's on mobile, it feels like when you're going to talk to an NPC, it's like you're going to attack them. But anyway, that's just my observation at first. So you can hold this, the F option, and on mobile, you just press your like attack button. So when you hold that, the shortcuts will come out. So this here is the items storage. Of course, you can also access this via the main menu. So here at the storage, we have first the Wenjins. We already talked about that earlier. And then we have drive disks, also done. And here we have the upgrade mats. I just didn't discuss this earlier at the character page because it's gonna get confusing. So because they all kind of look the same, but yeah, I guess that's just me. But here they are. So first we have chips. Chips, it's indicated there, and they represent which damage type can be upgraded. Basically, these are your skill level up materials. So they have 3 tiers: the triangle, square, and hexagon. What you could remember here is the more sides is the higher tier. So of course, triangle 3, square 4, and hexagon 6. Then seals. Seals are the ascension mats. 3 tiers as well: green, blue, and pink. Components, these are your Wenjin ascension mats. So the same thing. There's 3 tiers: plain gray, blue, and then pink. And Hamster Cage Pass is your crowns, basically. So you could use this to max your skill. I haven't done this in mine, so that's why I have a lot. And then these three, the Ether Electrolyte, Energy Transfer Fluid, and Concentrated Cooling Fluid. I don't know why they had to name it so complicated. But these are your Bangboo Ascension Mats. So I'm gonna show you my Bangboo later. I haven't fully ascended them because it's really expensive to ascend your Bangboo here. My tip about Bangboo is you don't ascend A rank Bangboo, only S rank and the ones that you know you would really need. And yeah, I have more tips about Bangboo later, so stay tuned about them later. So next one, oh by the way, how can I forget? This one here at the top is your battery charge. So this is your resin or Trailblaze power. So they're called battery charge. And this one here is the ZZZ currency, which is Denny. So you have Denny's as your currency here in Zenless Zone Zero. And then your polychromes or primo gems. We also have monochromes, which is equivalent to the Genesis crystals. So that's your paid currency. And let's go back here. The blue, red, and yellow copies here, these are for your drive disk. So I'm gonna show them to you later. And this part here is for the core skills. So the S rank or gold colored ones are from weekly bosses, and the A rank or purple one or pink ones are from regular bosses. Of course, we're gonna show them to you later when we explore the overworld. And we also have here Wenjin power supply, level up mats of the Wenjins, and these here plating agents, they're your disk level up mats. So next one, these are investigator logs, so they are level up mats for your agents. And finally, the Bangboo level up mats. Like I said, the ascension of Bangboo are expensive, so I haven't leveled them up. That's why there's a lot here. Anyway, next, key items, collectibles. So I guess I won't explain these to you because you're gonna encounter these in the overworld. So you know they might get spoilery or something. So yeah. Next we have events, but we're gonna skip. You already know what an events page is, and of course the Errands notebook. So the Errands notebook is basically your adventurer's handbook. The primer is your beginner quests or goals for your account. You're gonna do this early on, and you're gonna accomplish this like at your own pace. Then the errands. The actual errands is your daily and weekly tasks. You can actually achieve this or the stuff here without too much stress. You know, you can take them off just as you play. And I do, however, have to point out that you have to pay attention, especially to your weeklies, because this gold thing, this inspiration thing, is a currency for items that you can use to design in your room. And of course, you don't want to miss out on some other bonus items. Now, training and combat, similar to Genshin, just shows the domains or enemies that you can go to. Tactics, oh, embarrassing. I actually haven't done this, but they're like tutorials, and they were added in later, so I wasn't able to do them yet. So yeah, that's all for the errands. Just remember that your dailies are on the actual errands page. You'll be good to go. The daily free polychrome, by the way, is 60, of course, similar to Genshin and Starreal, and the weekly polychrome or free polychrome is also 60. Now, the next on the list is Battle Pass, but we're gonna skip that. You know how that works. We're gonna go here on the signal search. So the Gacha Zone Zero. This is the event signal search. Currently, our S rank agent is Lighter. By the way, I don't think I've mentioned, but as you notice, the 5-star ranking here is not used. What they use is S rank. So A rank is 4 stars and B rank is 3 stars. So pretty basic. You'll also notice how they show you how many pulls you have left before you get your next A rank or S rank, and I think it's pretty neat. You know, Genshin and Starreal should do this as well. So the gacha mechanic here is the same. A rank guaranteed every 10 pulls, S rank is guaranteed every 90 pulls, but that has a 50% chance only of being the banner agent. I already lost one of my 50-50 here, and yeah, it sucks. For the Wenjin, the S rank is guaranteed per 80 pulls, and the limited Wenjin is at 75%. So yeah, there's still a chance of losing to a standard Wenjin. Anyhow, both of the agent and Wenjin, when you lose the banner up character, you're gonna get them on your next S rank. So that's just how it goes. The way you could easily understand it. And by the way, we also have discussed monochromes. So these are the general crystals in Genshin terms. Polychromes are the primo gems, and the items for pulling are these tapes. So encrypted master tape is the colored one. This is the one used for event agents and Wenjins. And simply master tape is the black and white one for the standard. So the stable channel is your standard banner. Right now there are 6 agents in this banner and their respective Wenjins as well. So similar to Star Rail, you'll get a free standard character when you reach 300 pulls. But as always, my advice is to not spend your polychromes here. It'll always be better to spend them on the event banners. Besides, I'm gonna show you later, you're gonna get a supply of master tapes every week in the weekly event and monthly shop. So I'm gonna show them to you later. You're also gonna have free master tapes on every other agent ascension in the character page. So that's similar to Genshin and Star Rail. Now again, don't spend your polychromes on master tapes. I just had to repeat that. Okay, next, Bangboo channel. In case you don't know yet, the Bangboo will be your little companion in battle. So they have different sets of skills and buffs depending on your team's damage types or factions. So the good thing here is you can select a Bangboo, and when you get your S rank, it'll be guaranteed to be that Bangboo. So whoever you choose. And the max pulse here is 80. Similar to the standard banner, I'd advise against spending or buying your boopons in the shop. Boopons, by the way, are the ones that you use to pull here. So you only buy from the shop unless it's on sale. So that's a monthly sale. By the way, I'm gonna show you the signal shop here, or the store. Internet membership is your welcome, 300 monochromes upon purchase and 90 polychromes for 30 days. Bundle shop, just a bunch of stuff. And here's the signal shop. It's like Paimon's bargains. So all these here can be obtained from your pulse, the residual signal and fading signal especially, of course. And residual signal is the more precious one. As you can see, I'm saving mine so I can get a Wenjin for one of my agents. Then fading signal is where you can grab discounted encrypted and regular master tapes. They refresh monthly, like I said earlier, so make sure you hold on to your fading signal currency. Bangboo is dedicated for Bangboo items. There's also a discounted boopon every month. My mistake here was, don't do this, okay? I bought regular priced boopons, so like I said earlier, don't. It's better to buy the discounted ones and save for this Marcel modified part. It can only be used as a copy to increase or ascend your S rank Bangboo, which is pretty good, by the way, because they have a significant amount of increase when you rank them up. So okay, that's just about it. This is one for the spenders where you can buy monochromes. So yeah, if I missed anything, just let me know in the comments, or if there's any clarification, please let me know. So we've got more tips coming up. And I just want to say, if you've reached this far, I hope you guys like the video and subscribe if you haven't yet. And our current goal is 1,000 subs. We're currently at 730. I hope you guys would help me share this channel to your friends and family as well. Alright, let's get back to it. So now let's go to Internet. Internet is like your quest log. So you open it here and you have your notification. So these contain very cool in-game stories and whatnot. You can read them if you like. There are also quests that pop up here, especially when you reach a certain Internet level. By the way, the Internet level is your adventure rank, so you could raise it, of course, by doing quests. And yeah, now under schedule, one thing you need to know about ZZZ is that the day is divided into morning, afternoon, evening, and late night. This is important because some quests or some NPCs will only appear at certain times of day. So I have one tip about this later related to your agent's trust level. And here on the Internet level will be your rewards in every level unlocked. Alright, let's go to Knock Knock first, or the messenger. Some NPCs will chat you here and tell you details about certain quests, but here in your contacts is where you can contact agents that you have. You'll see here that you can send them a message, and here on the right is the trust level, which of course is also seen on the character page. So when you're starting to build trust with them, you guys will talk and schedule a meetup place and time. So make sure that you don't miss your scheduled time because you don't want to miss your date with them. Having mentioned that, you should also know that some domains or stages will affect your time. For instance, when you spend time in farming Denny's in the HIA, let's say in the morning, after you clear the stage, the time will turn into afternoon. For example, you decide to meet with Lighter in the morning and you farm for whatever materials that you want to farm. Of course, that would cost you a time of the day and you're going to miss your appointment with Lighter. So, yeah. And having said that, you'll also notice that some NPCs would already be asleep by late night, so you won't be able to interact with them. You know, just little details that I love about the game. Now, let's go to the map. So you can access the map here, or even go to your car and choose where you're going. So to simplify things, the overworld in ZZZ is quite small. You know, it's not exactly an exploration game, but it's amazingly full of interactions. To help you with those interactions, you can access each major map's officer Mew Mew, so they'll have a list of what you can do. So there are also clues as to who, what, and when you can or when you need to approach them. And like I said, the time affects the environment. The NPCs are lively. Here in this little window, you can also get a glimpse of which character is where, and if you bump into them, you can interact and get extra trust points. Oh, by the way, before we go out on 6th Street, this here is our video store and you can manage the video store. It's also indicated here at the upper left. They actually show here what you can do nearby. Like, for example, if there's a trust event nearby, it's going to pop up there. So in this case, we have manage video store because this one here, the video store management is like your expedition in Genshin terms. So you could send or actually hire an agent to be your video promoter, so you're gonna get some rewards when you claim them. And you should also know that this resets every day, like in their daily reset time, so you can do it say at before it resets and you could get it as soon as the server time resets. So let's go out here on 6th Street. Almost everything here will be introduced to you anyway, so I'm just gonna show you my Bangboo like I said earlier. So it's here in the remodeling shop. As you can see, most of them are stuck at 50 over 50 because like I said, ascending them is very expensive. And here is the core update, or you could say refinement of the Bangboo. You can do that of course by getting another copy or using the Marcel special part at the shop, which I told you to get instead of buying regular Boopons. Bonus tip for the Bangboo and its signal search: general rule of thumb is to prioritize the elemental Bangboo. So for example, you have your Shark Boo for ice, Plug Boo for electric, Resonia Boo for ether, and so on. Of course, the faction focused ones are also great. They're the ones like Butler or Safety who give bonus based on the faction of your agents. But generally, you'll get more out of the damage type ones, which is also your basis on your team building. So yeah. The next is we have free coffee daily. The coffee gives you 80 free battery charge daily, although they're going to change some of the mechanics here in 1.4, so just stay tuned for that. So that's a huge thing, I think, especially if we compare it with Genshin and Star Rail. You don't get that much bonus resin. So yeah, what else? Let's go here to Bardic Needle. So here, tuning is where you can use the disk copies that I showed you earlier from the items. So disk copies can be actual usable drive disks. You shouldn't use this function if you can only tune less than 10 disks because you're gonna lose out on the chance of a higher tier drive disk. Always do a 10 so you can get 2 or 3 S rank drive disks. By the way, that's only applicable to the A rank drive disks because you're not gonna get a higher tier when you do that on S rank. So only tune when you have 10, so you can get 2 or 3 S rank drive disks from your S rank tuning. And besides, you won't be using the A rank drive disks anyway because they just don't give the same value. Now here, they also have an item that you can use for a main stat of your choice. Of course, I'd advise that you use it only when it's the last piece that you need. And what else? Most likely that will be on either 4, 5, or 6. But yeah, you can also select specific drive disk numbers. It's pretty similar to how StarRail does it, but doing so here will double the required disk copies. Kind of a big spend for me personally, so I personally don't do that, at least not often. So usually I just do my runs on drive disk stage and tune if I don't get anything good. Of course, after I dismantle all the lower rank ones. And then database is just a record of all the drive disks, so okay. Right now I'm gonna show you the Scott outpost. So after all the tutorials you'll get there, they're gonna leave you alone, so I just want to give you tips on what you should be doing here. So this is the Scott outpost, and there are 4 kinds of stages, and I believe they are adding one more permanent endgame content, so we'll get there in a bit. Let's start here at the cleanup. So this is where you can farm drive disks. This is your drive disk domain, so to speak. So we just talked about that, and similar to Genshin and StarRail, always farm to upgrade your agents and vengeance and their skills first before you farm here. And the Internaut level that you should wait for is 45 before you could get a guaranteed S rank. And then here at Notorious Hunt, this is basically your weekly boss for your core skills. Make sure to clear this weekly because you'll also get bonus Denny's and merits, and we'll talk about merits later. By the way, do this because it doesn't charge you with any battery charge, so it's basically free 3 tries every week. Now this side with Ray is here. She's gonna talk to you at first anyway, and what we can say about this part is this is like our simulated universe based on StarRail. So you'll have to collect all possible Resonium and items from inside the Hollow Zero. You'll see your progress here, and of course bonus polychromes. So this here is the Hollow Zero. You're gonna clear first the entry and then these zones 1, 2, and 3, after which you'll be able to unlock the Nest Withering Garden. You don't have to rush this because every time that you do, you'll get points that is capped weekly, which is here on the bottom left. You have a lot of bonus items here on the license level. Unfortunately, I already claimed all of mine. And here in the bounty commission is what I was saying earlier. So this is weekly, and you can usually do 1 or 2 runs in the nest when you've unlocked it. That way you could sweep this. Now going back here at the nest, you're going to get several Resoniums when you enter here. At the end you can save them, pretty much like what StarRail did on the Divergent universe. But in this case, you're going to be able to use these Resonia for this one. So this is the Inferno Reap, which is kind of their unlimited version of the Withering Garden. Well, although not totally because it's timed, but you get it. So lastly, this is the Shiyu defense. This is like the Spiral Abyss. At this point, we can still brute force the levels even without having much agents, because we can still use agents even if the enemies are resistant to their damage type. By the way, they're gonna do the same thing here with Genshin and StarRail, where there's gonna be an auto clear if you cleared them in the previous cycle. So and speaking of cycle, the cycle or the rotation of the event here will also be adjusted because, like I said, they're going to introduce a new endgame content. So once you've got your weekly boss and the Hollow Zero stages done, including Shiyu defense, by the way, you need to check out this guy. So logistics. You can exchange your stuff here, make sure that you don't miss them out on their cycle. Naturally, only spend them here on the more expensive and more precious ones. So try to keep your hands off the Denny's, which you can try to get somewhere else. I believe we've covered almost everything. Right now, we're just gonna do the battle sequence. So I'm gonna introduce to you while doing that in-game. Before we proceed on the battle showcase, let me show you that on the main quest or story quest, if you don't want to use the trial agents, if you want to use your own agents for any reason, if you want to practice using them, you can actually disable the trial mode here and use your own agents. Okay, so we're gonna do a run here in Inferno Reap, and we're gonna do a little team building. So general rule of thumb is of course you want a DPS and two supports that could either be an actual support unit or maybe a stunner, and you could also use a defender of course or an anomaly. But in some cases you can use an anomaly agent as your main DPS. So that would really depend on how an agent works or how their kit works. So make sure that you practice using them and also try to experiment on what works with your rotation. And then as for the Bangboo, like I said earlier, it's generally better to use the damage type Bangboo instead of the faction based ones. But of course, that really depends on, of course, your preference. Because some of them would also benefit your, for example, a shortened cooldown on your skill or burst. So if that's where you're more comfortable, then go for it. Okay, so we're here at the Inferno Reap. So our team comp is with Piper, who's an anomaly agent, Lucy is the support, and Lighter is the stunner. The enemy's health bar is the green one here, so you'll notice the element symbol on its right, so that's the anomaly meter. Notice how it gets full easily while Piper is attacking it. When you fill it up, depending on the damage type, you're going to see the damage type symbol right there, so it's physical. So the corresponding anomaly type will take effect, and in this case, it's Assault, as Piper is physical. Below the health bar, you'll also notice the yellow bar, which is for the daze. And since Lighter is the stunner, notice how quickly he can fill it up, at least faster than Piper and Lucy. And of course, when it gets full, you need to do a sequence of attacks in order to do a series of quick assists, like so.
Good work, buddy. Nothing to it.
Only champions make history.
So once the Grey Daze bar is depleted, the enemy will be back to normal, and there you need to stun them again.
Gotta charge right through. Buckle up. Damn, right when I thought it was break time.
There it is. Focus.
Trouble.
If I missed any tip that you think other players need to know, list them down in the comments, as well as if there's any kind of guide or content that you want me to cover. So for the new or returning players, welcome to Zenless Zone Zero, welcome to New Eridu. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.
My pleasure. Begun.
Good riddance. Move it.
We're just getting started.
Thanks for your business. Shark Nami!
Let me at him. Again. Focus.
How about this time? Get lost!
I'm unstoppable! There it is.
Help is here. Take this.
Nice try. This one's a real crowd pleaser.
The trophy's back. How annoying! Get flushed! Not bad.
My pleasure. Let's off!
Clear out!